My name is Chrissie Hodges, and I'm an advocate for OCD, particularly the type of OCD that is referred to as pure OCD. This is a nickname for the type of OCD that manifests with intrusive, distressing thoughts, often of violent, sexual, blasphemous, sometimes health, relationship themed OCD, and then they're accompanied by mental rituals, which are ruminating, mental reviewing, avoidance, seeking reassurance, and the list goes on. I live with this and did for many years before I was diagnosed at the age of 20. I also do a lot of videos on YouTube. My channel is Chrissie Hodges, Pure OCD Advocate, and I'm the author of Pure OCD, The Invisible Side of Obsessive-Compulsive Disorder. So I just want to quickly talk a little bit about what pure OCD is, and I'll share with you just briefly my story. My first fear was the fear of vomiting. When I was 8, it appeared out of nowhere and it changed my world. I was doing compulsions all day, every day at some point, worried that I was going to throw up, and the only thing I could come up with in my brain was that I was being punished by God. So this was when scrupulosity entered, and I started to think, as long as I'm doing prayer rituals, I'm the best person I can be, maybe God won't punish me with these thoughts. And I was too scared to tell anybody what was going on, so I kept it to myself and really put on this facade and this persona, even at 8 years old, so everyone would think everything was okay, even though I was really suffering inside and had no idea what was going on. And once I hit my teenage years, I started to have some blasphemous, worried I was going to be possessed by the devil, worried I was going to be violent against children, and then the big one hit for me. It was the fear of turning gay, which is often referred to as HOCD. And when this hit, it really turned my world upside down. I was terrified, still couldn't tell anyone, so I kept it to myself. Went in and out of depressive states, but always put on this face and persona that everything was okay. And then finally at age 20, I had unbearable depression and got to a point where I thought suicide was the only option. Luckily, I survived and I was able to get diagnosed correctly, which was miraculous, back in 1998 at the time, in just a random psychiatric facility. And then I had exposure response prevention therapy with Dr. Stephen Phillipson in New York. So I was very lucky to be able to get the therapy and get my symptoms under control. Some of the key symptoms for pure OCD are going to be disturbing and distressing thoughts that you're constantly doubting. You're wanting to find some sort of proof or disproof. Is it real? Is it not? And the interesting thing about it is it can drag you into any direction. So oftentimes when people have it, they find out it's OCD, then they worry that they really don't have OCD. This could also manifest as, I all of a sudden don't have anxiety about having the thoughts, and now what if that means I'm finally accepting that these thoughts are real? So what I try to remember for myself is that I have an intolerance for uncertainty. So however my brain is going to twist and turn that into keeping me stuck, that is how I recognize, okay, this could possibly be OCD. I'm doing compulsions, so now let me apply some ERP and get through whatever it is that I'm needing to find proof or disproof of. How can people get help for themselves? The best answer to that is being part of communities like an OCD, seeking out information until it turns into reassurance seeking. But specifically, you want to work with someone who specializes in OCD, who has the training, is supervision, and their caseload is really high of people working with OCD, and that they have grad stories of people that they've worked with that have been successful. Always ask, what kind of treatment modality are you using? If they're not using exposure response prevention, they cannot treat OCD. Why is it important to talk about Pure O? Oh my gosh, it's so important because one of the key components of living with this is that we feel so alone. The symptoms feel so real. We cannot imagine, A, that it's a mental illness. We just think it's part of who we are, or if I'm having these thoughts, it must mean they're real. And B, we feel like there's no one else in the world that feels this way. This is my entire practice. I do peer support with individuals, one-on-one, worldwide. Everyone feels this way. They all feel they're the only one, when in reality, all of our symptoms are the same. It's the same language, it's the same anxiety, it's the same everything. So it's important to talk about so you know that you're not alone. And you are not alone, by the way. Lastly, I am working with OCD and other, and you know, in my own YouTube channel and partnering with people through my nonprofit OCD Game Changers. I want to work with organizations like this that are committed to doing innovative, creative things to reach you, to reach our community, so we know that we're not alone, so we know that there are resources, and we know that we can get help and that there is hope. Because the bottom line is, at the end of the day, when we feel scared and terrified that we're the only ones and there's nothing that can help us or give us hope, reaching out to communities like OCD, reaching out to my YouTube channel and other places where you can really say, there are other people that are suffering with this. I don't have to do this alone. That is the key to hope and motivation, to getting the help that you so deserve. So thank you, OCD, for having me, and thank you for tuning into my video, and I hope that this was helpful for you.